Get your fix with exclusive content, early access, and Discord integration. It's more Buckley than you could ever want at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. Millennials. They're the fucking worst, right? Of course, can anyone define a millennial? On the internet, a millennial is anyone younger than you, and they were all born exactly 1 year after you were. You're not a millennial. You were part of the previous generation, the last one with common sense, because millennials are lazy and stupid and entitled, and you're definitely not. Fact is, according to some demographic charts, I'm a millennial. 38 years old, closing in on 40, the age the internet thinks boomers are. But I can go on the internet and say, well, actually, I'm an X-lennial. I was one of the ones born just at the end of Gen X and the beginning of millennials. Because we all have to feel special and try and separate ourselves from others, while not realizing we're pretty much all the same level of stupid. But millennials are the favored punching bag right now, so clickbait sites like to shit on them with articles like this. These things are disappearing because millennials refuse to pay for them. Now, let's pretend this was all before, the thing we're trying to distract ourselves from. Some of these things may struggle in 2020, but it won't be because of young people. I'm going to save you about 40 clicks, and probably a bunch of malware, and take you through some of the more ridiculous things that are disappearing before our very eyes. These are the John Cena of products. You can't see them.
Beer!
It's gone, because millennials smoke pot. The writer actually wrote pot, giving the feel that this listicle, which was probably pumped out by a millennial for $40 in the gig economy, was written by a 55-year-old. Now, Forbes reports that beer sales were down about 2.3% from the last year, according to one firm's research, while spirits were up the same amount, and ready-to-drink beverages like good old White Claws were up 50%. So, while the article claims that drinking may become something people frown upon in the future, I think most bars and stores near college campuses will tell you young people are still drinking.
Restaurants!
Ever notice how you drive down the street and see no more restaurants? Or at least no cars in the parking lot? Well, what do you mean that's not the case? Millennials are killing them. So says the CEO of Buffalo Wild Wings, according to this article. It then mentions delivery apps being popular, so I guess restaurants realize they might have to adapt, like Blockbuster probably should have before it died. Wait, who killed Blockbuster? Well, probably Gen X, but let's blame millennials. It gets more clicks.
Cash!
This is ridiculous. I see old people using fucking debit with tap now all the time. It's way more convenient for everyone of every age group. But an NPR and PBS poll asked if millennials would use credit cards or cash to pay for their holiday shopping, and the results are shocking. 63% of people under 30, so again missing like 8 years of millennials with money, revealed they plan to use plastic instead of paper. The shocking part is that that's not higher. Why would anyone go to the trouble of getting cash out now, often paying an extra fee in the process unless you find a machine that's from your specific bank, and then go to the store? Again, even old people are like, fuck it, I'm running out of time on this earth. I'm not making 2 stops. And after the old COVID-19, no one wants to touch your gross money that's got all your diseases on it. Just use the fucking tap.
The drive-thru, or fast food in general, and cooking at home, and bulk groceries.
So we heard restaurants were kind of suffering. Also, they're not going to McDick's, not buying groceries, and they're not cooking at home. So, have millennials killed eating, according to this article? I guess millennials are just buying a single avocado at the grocery store and eating it on the way to their pot parties.
Wedding shit!
Now, the CDC, who I thought only tracked diseases, but then the more I think about it, the more this makes sense, shows the number of marriages every year between 2000 and 2018 is pretty flat. Although, when you consider the population increases each year, that probably means fewer and fewer people are getting married. Especially when you consider they also allow gay couples to get married, in most states. But that didn't boost numbers at all. Can the wedding industry survive on a measly 2 million couples getting married every year? I guess they'll have to. But the article mentions that millennials aren't buying diamonds, aren't going on honeymoons, though it claims newlyweds are having uni-moons where they travel separately. Because what, one couple whoever fucking did this? And surprisingly, the divorce rate is also dropping. You want to know why? Because money. Millennials don't have it. Which is pretty much the answer for so much of this shit, but people who are in their mid-20s to late 30s don't have the benefits their parents had, where one income paid for a house and someone to live at home, have a kid, everything got way more expensive, but wages didn't increase the same way. Diamond rings are supposed to cost 3 months' salary, according to some commercials. With the current average U.S. salary, that would be $12,000 pre-tax. De Beers has engagement rings from like $10,000 to who the fuck knows. Do you know anyone who could afford to just drop $12,000 on a fucking ring? I sure as fuck don't, and I don't know anyone stupid enough to go into debt for it.
Life insurance.
I'd have to ask my parents, did they have life insurance at the age of 25? Like they went out and got it, it didn't come with a job they had? No 25-year-old thought of that shit in any era. Every 25-year-old is invincible. But then, they have this completely unrelated image, which is about saving money. How to make $2.1 million. Alright, I'm in. Tell me. Both Ashley and Amanda take home $4,000 per month from their jobs. So they have a take-home pay of $48,000. That's after tax. Totally reflective of most 25-year-olds, I'm sure. You 25-year-olds in my audience, you're all making $25 an hour at least, right? Ashley, the stupid bitch, spends it all, and at the age of 65 eats cat food. The dry stuff, none of that expensive 60 cents a can shit. Amanda, the wise, puts away $800 every month into a fund that earns a 7% return forever, because that's how the world works, and all of my investments are totally gonna make 7% this year with no hiccups whatsoever. And from the age of 25 to 64, she never loses her job and always averages out that amount of money every year. She has $2.1 million and will never even have to touch that in her retirement because every year she's going to make 7% of that, which somehow is $228,828 a year. That's not 7% by any math. And by the way, an investment calculator that I ran this on gets you to $935,000 over 30 years of saving this way, not $2.1 million. So this fund is fucking magical. And finally,
houses.
They're fading away like Spider-Man after Thanos snapped. That's a reference only millennials get, right? Because millennials, the cheap pricks, won't pay mortgages. And this article almost reaches a level of self-awareness, but I guess it's as out of reach as owning land for a 30-year-old. Because it mentions, this is mostly because many can't even afford an apartment on their own. And then goes, oh, and also they find it too restricting, because people have never sold a house and moved. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics says the average person, 25 to 34 years old, in 2019 earned $43,524 annually. Is that enough to own a house? If you got two incomes, and you're not buying some $2 million house with the help of the fucking Property Brothers, yeah, you'd probably be fine buying a $250,000 house. You can even save a few dollars, unlike Ashley, the fucking dolt. And in the US, if you never have any health problems, or you never go any time without being unemployed, you'll be fine. But again, that's if you're in the average. Not everyone is. I'll tell you right now, my comment section will be full of people telling me they are 25 and they make $14 an hour or they make $10 an hour. Very far away from a $43,000 average. They're not buying a house, and they're certainly not buying a house in a city. Oh, and also, this is fucking bullshit. A study showed that 37% of people ages 25 to 34 own a house, compared to 45% of boomers who owned a home in their mid-20s to mid-30s. They make it sound like millennials don't own shit. Nearly 28 million of them own a home. Sounds to me like the housing market will be fine. But the point I could have made like 8 minutes ago is that these lists are stupid because tastes change and things evolve. It'd be like someone writing a list in 1960 saying, boomers are killing the radio industry. They ain't buying them like their parents did. Now all they want is TVs. And why ain't they going to restaurants with car hops? Instead, they patronize these newfangled drive-thrus where you just get your food through a window. In the 1930s, was some fucking crank writing in the newspaper, how come these young folk ain't buying horses no more? Is your business truly struggling to attract young people? Then figure out what the fuck they like and cater to it. Or die. It ain't millennials that are killing your business. It's your inability to adapt to people who have disposable income. And in 20 years, when millennials are all in their 50s, they can learn absolutely fucking nothing from all of this and write stupid articles about how Gen Alpha is killing the cell phone industry because they all just get brain implants that let them close their eyes and surf the internet with their mind. Hey, Aria, did you mind scan this Blink Feed article about how we're killing the phone industry? Yeah, Liam. Can't believe some idiot got paid food rations to write that. It's like, okay, millennial.